Let's get lifted high on these ABC. 1, 2, 3. Take a look inside. Everything you need is right in front of you. Right in front of you on these ABCs. It's time for learning. Let's go over some more icons. Will you join me? Thank you. All right, so we're starting with Mervyn M. Dymally, born in 1926, an occupation of politician. Born in Cedros, Trinidad, Mervyn, Trinidad. I'm not sure how you say that, but Mervyn Dymally immigrated to the United States in 1946 to study at Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri. He earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in education from California State University in 1954 and began teaching school in Los Angeles. Subsequently, he began a political career and became the first Black elected to the California Senate, the only Black to serve as Lieutenant Governor of the state, and the first foreign-born Black to serve in Congress, 1980. Dymally defeated 4 other candidates to win the primary in California's 31st congressional district. From 1987 to 1989, he was chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus. Today, Dymally heads an international consulting firm in Los Angeles. All right, Mervyn, thank you for your service. All right, and now we're going to go back a little bit further to Rosa Parks, who was born in 1913, one of the greatest years ever, when she courageously refused to give up her seat to a white man on a Montgomery, Alabama bus on December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks secured her place in history. Her subsequent arrest resulted in a mass boycott of city buses and brought the civil rights movement and Martin Luther King Jr. to national prominence. Parks, who grew up under segregation in Alabama, was refused when she tried to register to vote in 1943. She soon became secretary of the Montgomery branch of the NAACP and in 1949 advisor to the NAACP Youth Council. She attended the Highlander Folk School, a training center for labor and civil rights leadership, just months before her arrest. Parks was fined $10 for violating Montgomery's segregation laws. Harassed and fired from her job, she moved to Detroit, where she later co-founded the Rosa and Raymond Parks Institute for Self-Development to work with young people. Again, these are civil rights movement knowledge cards from the Library of Congress. All right. Next is James Farmer, born in 1920, passed in 1999. How old was he when he passed? Can you tell me? All right. Long before the 1960 Greensboro, North Carolina lunch counter sit-in ignited a national movement, James Farmer gathered friends to sit in at a coffee shop in Chicago, successfully ending their segregation policy. A founder of the Congress of Racial Equality in 1942, Farmer served as its director during the early 1960s, when he organized the Freedom Rides to test a Supreme Court ruling prohibiting segregation in interstate bus terminals. Farmer himself was arrested as a Freedom Rider in Jackson, Mississippi. I made the decision, if Mississippi had jail cells, we had the bodies to fill them. We stayed in jail 40 days. 40 days. And all the while, new Freedom Riders were coming. Farmer failed to take his place in the 1963 March on Washington because he was again in jail for leading a demonstration in Louisiana. In 1998, he received the Medal of Freedom for his lifelong commitment to civil rights. So he received that Medal of Freedom, James Farmer. All right. Second to last, Mamie Till Mobley, born in 1922. Chicagoan, Mamie Till Bradley, later who became Mosley, was 33 when her 14-year-old son, Emmett, was murdered in 1955 for mildly flirting with a white woman during a visit to the Mississippi Delta. When Till Mobley saw his disfigured body, when she insisted that the whole world see what I had seen. Determined to expose the horrors of lynching in the South, she held an open casket funeral. The press picked up the story, broadcasting the trial of the 2 white men accused of the murder who were acquitted. Till Mobley could have become discouraged and bitter, but instead she courageously transformed the tragedy of her son's death into a force for change, touring the country on behalf of the NAACP. In 1973, she trained the first of the Emmett Till Players, a youth performance group, that kind of stuff I love. She directed the Emmett Till Foundation, providing scholarships to young people. So that's Mamie Till Mobley. And last, but certainly not least, one of the people that I really admire, Barbara Jordan, born in 1936. Texas attorney Barbara Charlene Jordan announced her candidacy for the Democratic nomination for state representative on February 3rd, 1962, borrowing the $500 filing fee that was necessary for her to apply. Despite a vigorous campaign, she lost, then ran and lost again in 1964. She was finally successful in her 1966 bid for the Texas Senate, serving there until 1972. Jordan's election to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1972 made her the first African-American woman ever elected to that body from the South. A year and a half later, Jordan became one of the best-known political figures in the country when she served as a member of the Judiciary Committee debating President Richard Nixon's impeachment. Her 1976 keynote address to the Democratic National Convention confirmed her reputation as one of the most commanding and articulate public speakers of her era. Barbara Jordan. One of the most commanding and articulate, apparently she's more articulate than I am, most articulate speakers of her era. So we thank you, these icons. Get lifted with me. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your example. Thank you for coming before us and paving the way for us. These are the shoulders that we stand on every day. ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. Take a look inside. Everything you need is right in front of you. Right in front of you on these ABCs. Thank you for learning with me. I'll see you next time.